Leader of the opposition in the Rajya Sabha, Arun Jaitley, had with our editor-in-chief Arun Goswami just a short while ago. He spoke on both the big developments of the day: the clean chit to Narendra Modi in the Gulbarg Society massacre case, and of course the commission of inquiry that's been okayed by the cabinet in the snooping tapes issue. My guest on NewsHour Direct is Leader of the Opposition in the Rajya Sabha, Arun Jaitley. Mr. Jaitley, thank you. So why do you have an objection to the Congress party raising the Snoopgate issue and ordering an inquiry into it?
Well, first of all, it's completely malafide. They tried fixing Modi in the Sharabuddin case, they couldn't do it.
Right.
There is documentary evidence available to that effect. Then they tried fixing him in the Ishrat case, and the best evidence they had was the color of the beard. They didn't succeed in that. For 11 years, they carried on a campaign of calumny against him.
Yes.
On the 2002 riots. The SIT cleared him. Today, the court has cleared him. Now, on the day that you expected a court judgment, CBI has already indicated that even against Amit Shah, they may not be having much evidence in the Ishrat case. On that day, the cabinet meets with most ministers absent, and immediately I am told as the last item, this item is placed, and you appoint a commission of inquiry on a subject matter on which the state itself has appointed a commission of inquiry. Now, it's not an earth-shaking matter of national importance that you require a central commission and a state commission. Now, you can have a central commission in a state matter if it relates to two or more states. Now, they said it relates to Karnataka.
Right.
But assuming there is a telephone which is being genuinely kept under observation for reasons of crime detection.
Yes.
A phone is made from Ahmedabad or Mumbai to Bangalore.
Yes.
Obviously, two states will be involved, but that doesn't make it interstate. So what they do is, I'm told from one of the channels, they've added my case. For 1 year, they don't do anything. I still don't know who was keeping an eye on my phone. And they say the second case to give it a multi-state character is Arun Jaitley's phone under observation, or the CDR under observation. Something happened 2 years ago in Himachal, that is also added. Now, this is completely collateral. It's a phony commission. I hope no sitting judge of the Supreme Court or a High Court lends himself to this kind of a commission. I further hope that since even retired judges are now being called into question, no retired judge, for the sake of dignity of the judicial institution, lends himself to the political campaign of the Congress party, and this commission is a part of that campaign.
Mr. Jaitley, what you're saying is, you're drawing a link between the centre's decision to institute a court of inquiry into what is called Snoopgate and the fact that Narendra Modi has been totally let off in the Zakia Jafri matter. You say the cabinet was specially called and a few people sat there and they announced the commission of inquiry to neutralize the news which would come later in the day.
I am not saying that the cabinet was specifically called. All that I am saying is I am told that there was an inadequate attendance in the cabinet. There is one view that very few ministers were present. And you wanted to push it because all the other three cases in which you tried to implicate it, you haven't been able to do it. You can't fight Narendra Modi politically. You fight him through CBI, you fight him through SIT, you fight him through a commission. That's what led to the downfall of the Congress in Gujarat. That will certainly lead to its further collapse as far as India is.
Now, if someone were to make this contention to you, Mr. Modi, that there are two news stories which have happened today, Mr. Jaitley, two news stories concerning Narendra Modi. The one which has a positive impact on him politically, which is the Zakia Jafri matter, and the other which has a negative impact on him politically, which is the Snoopgate matter. And if this case were to be made to you that the positive impact of the Zakia Jafri matter would be neutralized by the negative impact of Snoopgate, I want your response to that.
That's a journalistic nuance, Arnab. That's a journalistic nuance. What weighs more? There is one campaign of calumny for 11 years. More than one institution, and I include some of my friends in the media also, almost behaved like a lynch mob on these allegations against Modi. There was an international campaign against him. No Indian politician since 1947 has gone through different kinds of inquiries and emerged stronger and emerged completely cleaner as far as those inquiries is concerned. As far as the Snoopgate matter is concerned, all I can tell you is let all the facts come out, and the facts will sustain the contention which the Gujarat government has been making, and the facts will further support the contention as to who was being investigated and who was not being investigated. Therefore, let's wait for the commission appointed by the state government.
Yes, but you see, Mr. Jaitley, that the opposition to Mr. Modi is intense from several political quarters. I mean, you're talking about the media. I don't know about the media, but I'd certainly say that from political quarters, it has been fairly intense. And their point is, I'm putting their point. Their point is, Mr. Jaitley, that while Narendra Modi is off the hook legally, what about moral culpability? And they say that the allegation that stays is that of omission and not commission. And therefore, the BJP and Mr. Modi won't be able to extract political mileage from what has happened in Ahmedabad today.
Well, in order to reach that opinion of moral culpability, you must first have all the facts before you. And let in the inquiry which has been undertaken by the state government, all the facts come out. Just as in the previous 3 cases, whether it was Sharabuddin case or the Ishrat Jahan case or the 2000 riot cases, we faced a lot of campaign from all our opponents. What happens to their moral culpability having resorted to falsehood? What happens to those who indulged in perjury before different forums, including the investigation, in order to contend that Modi was a part of the conspiracy? They filed affidavits which were completely fake. They concocted meetings where something had been said which was never said. They concocted the presence of individuals in those meetings. Therefore, let the facts come out. Modi has been used to this kind of an adversity, and I can assure you, if past history is an evidence, he's emerged stronger in the face of adversity.
What happens to the strongest opponents to Mr. Modi politically? You know, parties like the BSP, parties like the SP, parties, like the JDU. Will Modi's political acceptability go up a few notches or remain at the same level after this clean chit?
Well, obviously, all of them will now have to analyze what facts are. And I can tell you, on the drawing board, as far as our planning for 2014 is concerned, none of these parties that you are mentioning anywhere figures on it. Parties which are capable of cozying up to the Congress party at any given point of time may not be a part of our arrangement which is on the drawing board. Our strategy is we make BJP strong. A strong BJP will make the NDA stronger. Then we attract more allies and friends. We collectively contest and certainly try and cross the halfway mark.
Well, you never know Indian politics, Mr. Jaitley, who you need when. That's the only reason I asked that question. Now, on the question of Snoopgate, I want to get a couple of...
The answer... Yes. The answer to that question, if you want me to complete that, is a stronger BJP will attract more friends, a weaker BJP will attract none.
No, I'm sure you are not suggesting that support to the BJP will ever be an act of compulsion. It will be a choice. And Mr. Jaitley, you've handled allies. You've been law minister, senior member of the NDA government of Vajpayee. You know that allies need to be wooed. I'm sure you wouldn't want a situation where you want to antagonize allies.
Certainly not. And our track record on handling regional parties is much better than the UPA's track record.
Okay. Now a couple of questions on Snoopgate, Mr. Jaitley. You see, I again want to, if you, with respect, utmost regard to you, I want to challenge this federal issue which you have raised, Mr. Jaitley, because when one sees these tapes raise a question about whether surveillance did in fact exceed beyond Gujarat. Now, I'm sure that you are aware of the Appointment of Commission Inquiry Act of 1952, which allows such a scope of inquiry to be extended to 2 or more states. So, once again, before I conclude, I don't know what really you're accusing the centre of doing wrong. Technically, they don't seem to have done something wrong.
Well, you are only on technicality. I am on the substance of federalism. When on the same subject matter, the state has appointed an inquiry, the state is within its jurisdiction to appoint an inquiry, the centre, while respecting the jurisdiction of the state, must say hands off. And when you speak in terms of allies, all the parties that you name, each one of the chief ministers must take this action of the centre as a warning to him to the extent to which this UPA government can encroach on federal jurisdictions.
Well, finally, Mr. Jaitley, I want to go back to what you said at the beginning. You said, you sort of seem to suggest to me, Mr. Jaitley, in your subtle manner that no self-respecting judge should be part of this commission of inquiry. I mean, are you trying to discredit the inquiry before it begins by making these kind of arguments? Why did you say that?
I'm sure you've got me completely correct. I am criticizing this inquiry. I won't use the word discrediting. This inquiry is a part of a desperate Congress which is slipping and slipping, and they want to now rely on the shoulders of a judge, hopefully a retired judge as far as they are concerned, in order to come out with some finding. And I do hope, since retired judges and recent history has proved that, also impinge on independence and stature of judiciary, the image of India's judiciary, no retired judge lends themselves to lends his own credibility to a commission of this kind. Don't forget, in the same 2002 riots, they got a retired judge of the Supreme Court to produce and manufacture a report. I use the word manufacture with a sense of responsibility, that the Sabarmati Express was not set on fire by people who have now been convicted, but the fire came from the car savers from within. There was a retired judge of the Supreme Court who came out with that report. That report had to be consigned to the dustbin. I hope such incidents which bring down the credibility of judiciary as an institution, no retired judge, and underline the word no retired judge, should lend himself to a desperate political exercise of the Congress party, which is trying to save its image even when it is losing support.
Arun Jaitley, good speaking to you. Thank you very much for talking to me. Thank you.